I've seen a great many ballrooms since. Very nice ones. But none as wonderful as that one. I entered the room as one enters in a dream, walking on air. Do you remember the graceful way people walked on those mirror-like floors? Thousands of mirrors on the walls. Chandeliers hanging from the ceiling like enormous magnolias.
On 622 Wells Street, or Wells Street between 6th and 7th, stood Dreamland the Beautiful. Originally the Hippodrome, Dreamland was a dance hall that lasted for 4 years before the management became Arcadia Ballroom / Arcadia Roller Rink. I can never be sure when Dreamland switched management, as there's contradictory information on when Dreamland closed. The first ad I saw for Arcadia was October 25th, 1914, while the article on the closing of Arcadia, that being in April 1916, says Dreamland closed New Year's Eve 1915. But before getting into the complexity of Dreamland, some historical context is due. Dance halls were often described as the origin of sin and societal evils. On May 27th, 1912, there was a call for heavy regulation. The new dance hall rules by Chief Jansen, they include curfew at 9 p.m. for minors, dance halls must pay licensing fees of $15 to $25, must get a permit from the mayor to hold a public dance, and those must close at 10 p.m. Must
maintain them in a clean and sanitary condition. No disorder of a violent or vulgar nature among the dancers.
These rules were protested by the German-American Alliance, who really wanted dance halls to close at 3 a.m. and special permits for the sale of liquor.
We're approaching Dreamland.
Guys, we're almost at Dreamland. Okay, right here, okay.
The site of an amazing dance hall right here.
Guys, we're at Dreamland.
You have to pay to park.
Dude. Event parking $25. Oh, fuck this. Alright, so this was fucking Dreamland. You know, they used to dance here. It held dances every night. Special theme nights or guests were advertised in the papers, all of which ended in a patron winning some sort of prize. They also held dance competitions, which increased near the end of Dreamland, as Worth bolstered his morality with proper dancing being taught by him. Starting July 28, 1912, Dreamland became Dreamland College of Dancing. Both Jenny, or Mrs. A.C. Worth, and Worth were instructors. Worth had always been referred to as Professor Worth, but Jenny never held a title, even though she and Worth were dance teachers a decade before Dreamland existed. These lessons continued like the nightly dances. In 1913 and early 1914, a major discussion came into play. Is tango danced correctly? In Chicago, Worth was called in as an expert. He doesn't think it's successful, whatever that means. Evidently, he believes it was worse than not successful and began classes for refined ballroom tango and hosted a plethora of tango events. On January 31st, 1914, Dreamland was advertised as
where tango and hesitation are danced the prettiest and most graceful of any place in Milwaukee.
Give him a neat motto, complete, say it with feet. Gladly, first lesson right now. You'll love it and how you'll love it. Here is the drag, see how it goes. Down on the heels, up on the toes. That's a way to do the varsity drag.
Besides dancing, Dreamland hosted political events, which included political conventions, speeches, and election dances. You can vote for the president and then dance the two-step race. If you miss that, don't worry, there's election result dances. What happens if who you vote for loses? Do you just not dance. Some events included the Bull Moose Party Convention, where Teddy Roosevelt spoke in Dreamland on 9/11/1912. On October 27th, 1912, William Jennings Bryan spoke. He's a Woodrow Wilson guy. Bryan said he was having the best time of his life after the speech, which was open seating with no tickets. Outside was also open for everyone, since the inside was so packed. Funnily enough, Bryan talked shit about the Bull Moose Party to a jovial crowd, and it was received greatly. Former Mayor David S. Rose came to speak at Dreamland on March 16, 1914, to a crowd of 5,000 people. It was reported that
there is nothing to compare with it, except the Bryan meeting 2 years ago.
The audience was loud and full of women, apparently. He attacked businessmen, which made the crowd go wild. And he came back to speak on April 19th, 1914. Rose did lose the election. Looking further into him, Rose became known as corrupt. As said in the Encyclopedia of Milwaukee, although he escaped prosecution, he became politically tainted as an alderman. County officials and bureaucrats associated with him were indicted for corruption. His time as mayor also gave Milwaukee the reputation of being an open town, with tolerance for prostitution, gambling, liquor, etc. Funny that this guy spoke at the
most beautiful and best regulated ballroom in America,
with rules such as
no smoking or drinking, nor dust. This will be a polite and refined big masquerade.
I hope I have thoroughly established the identity Worth hoped to create post-dancehall ordinance. There were 2 events with his character leading up to the closing of Dreamland. The first came on May 23, 1914. Jenny had sued Worth for absolute divorce and custody of their daughter. Her claims being Worth hurled dishes at her, abusive language, and accused her of
carrying on flirtations with the dance pupils.
Just 2 months later, July 16th, there was an article on abolishing bars in all dance halls. Naturally, Dreamland is a focus in this discussion. Worth is said to be
a man of high moral character, not responsible for the conditions that which gave the place a bad reputation. It is the system, not the man.
Worth goes on to admit that
the hall might be patronized by women of bad reputation, but assured that they are banned when known.
The men who go to meet them there get arrested.
I may be positive that girls have fallen after leaving the dance hall, but the management has no more control over that than the minister has over his own flock after it leaves the church.
As a matter of fact, it was rather an ordinary little ballroom.
You're mad.
Listen, I saw that ballroom. No, you didn't, Bob. You only dreamed it. You and Lydia both. I was the only one who saw it. It was actually...
Chandeliers hanging from the ceiling like enormous magnolias.
This giant magnet swings through crumbled concrete Wednesday, collecting old rebar at the site of the condemned parking structure at 6th and Wells. Alderman Bob Bauman says it's all a sign of progress for the city.
Alderman Bauman says the surface lot here will be successful. There are a lot of attractions down here. You've got the public museum, a state office building, but in the future, he'd like to see even bigger things go there.
It's a very prime location, and that's why ultimately we'd want to see more than surface parking.
More than the greatest love the world has known.
I go to the UWM Panther Arena quite a lot, and I never really thought that this one place that I've absentmindedly parked at would have held such an important part to dance culture and politics in Milwaukee. The space that is a blank slate will never be seen for its historical significance unless its history ever becomes more accessible to everyone. Even then, who's gonna look up a dance hall that lasted for 5 years?
Weeping longer than always is a long, long time. But far beyond forever, you'll be mine. I know I never lived before, and my heart is very sure no one else could love you more.